And it's taken away. There we go. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to the BAMF podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty, and I'm here today with a couple of fine fellows to talk about their programs on Kickstarter. And you guys are both artists, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Well,
Actually,
I'm
just the writer. I'm just the writer on the project.
Now he says that like he's being, modest. He's also got 5 issues of this comic that he's also written. So let's get some excitement behind this.
Yeah. I mean, for indie comics, that's almost unheard of.
I don't know if almost unheard of. I mean, I started in 2014. We did a lot of work early on. I was just talking to this about with my co-creator Roger, because I was on another interview and there was like a 2-year hiatus between back then and now where no agency books came out. But we did put out 5 in our first year and a half. So it's been a long journey, and I've done other projects between now and then. But yeah, the agency's my baby.
All right,
Can you give us the elevator pitch?
Exactly.
Yeah, if we were at the conventions and you guys wanted to know what it was about, you came to the table, I'd tell you it's Harry Potter meets Mission Impossible minus the wands. It deals with
That's awesome.
Wait, what's this here?
That's a staff. There's a difference between being a staff or having a wand.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. That's my next T-shirt. Oh my God! Real men have staves.
And yeah, I mean, it deals with a government agency labeled the IAM, the International Agency of Magic. They deal with all sorts of magical crimes, and all of a sudden, our A team, which is the group that you just showed, gets tasked this 15-year-old kid out of the blue, and that's where their adventure with Riley begins, and that's the first volume is your introduction to Riley and our team and what they're dealing with during that situation between babysitting and dealing with a magical terrorist organization known as the Horus.
This sounds like something that needs a role-playing game.
Yes, it does. Oh my God! How do you say the healer's name? Is it Ayo?
Ayo.
Ayo.
Yep.
What a cool look.
Thank
And cool vibe for him, like the fact that he can heal people, but sometimes he takes on the he can inflict some of that damage or takes on some of the scars himself. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, no, we wanted him to be kind of like this gentle giant, but at the same time, there's a reason for his restraint because all the injuries that he does take on, he has to hold on to them, either transfer them to somebody during a fight, or as you can see on his chest, they start to manifest. So there's a lot of layers with AO.
Now, have you seen the TV show Motherland?
I have not.
So the basic premise is, and I was really excited when I saw your Kickstarter pop up on the Indie Comics page because I'm a big fan of the novel series The Rook, which is have you read that?
No, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, big fan of that, and we just finished watching Motherland, which is kind of like during the Salem witch trials, one of the witches makes a deal with the emerging United States government to fight all their wars using magic. So fast forward 250, 300 years, and now you have basically a military branch centered around witchcraft. So seeing something like this pop up, and especially Ao, his power is very similar to one of the characters on the show. I was just like, this is perfect. So yeah, very, very cool. What kind of special ingredients are we seeing on the Kickstarter? Do we have like oh, look at that, that's cool, agency files?
Yeah, our website, theagencycomicbook.com. It's a little teaser. You've got some redacted files, some backstory, a little bit of history on all of our characters. You also get a highlight on the first group of villains, the Horus. You have Damien, who's kind of a rogue in all of this. He kind of plays both sides. And he's been around since the beginning of Magic. He's able to manifest himself into a flock or a murder of crows.
That's
kind of spread himself out and have eyes everywhere. He's snarky. He's sarcastic. He doesn't really like being under the thumb of our main villain, Teevil. So he's kind of trying to find his way out, which is where we're at in issue 6.
Cool.
Right.
He's got that Robert Smith hair too.
What's the sweet spot? Do you think somebody coming in to pledge on the Kickstarter? Where's a good spot for them to get into?
I mean, the digital tier offers all 6 issues. That's 144 pages colored. Full story, volume 1, and then the continuation of issue 6 for $8. I think that if you're wanting to roll the dice on something, I think that's the best bet. If not, we've got a limited tier for physical junkies who like to hold the comic in their hand. That also comes with the digital rewards, along with the novelization that was written by D.G. Spears, that kind of goes deep between the panels and adds so many more layers to volume 1 that we couldn't do in the comic book. And that was a fun thing to do as well. So yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of everything for everybody there.
So you're going to continue that when you get to like the next 6 issues where you have another novelization?
Yeah, we were actually talking about that this morning. I'm wrapping up the Bible for the 2nd volume, where he will take the story points and all that stuff and kind of start to elaborate on the book, and then I'll start sending him comic scripts so he can pick and choose dialogue and things that are important to kind of fuse with the stuff that he's adding and the things that he's bringing on.
Oh, that's tight. That's very tight.
Cool. All right. So this is going pretty well on Kickstarter, and it looks like you've got. Let me scroll to the top. Boom. Not quite halfway, and we've got about 3 weeks left, a little bit less than 3 weeks. So this is a good time to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right, cool. Mind if we switch over to James real fast, talk about his project?
No, that's what we're here for.
Hell
right.
yeah.
James, let's talk about Modern Mythos and Machine. Let me pull up your page and share it here.
Sure.
So we got something to look at while you're talking.
We should have like waiting music, not like the Jeopardy theme, because we don't want to get weird.
Well, next time I'm pulling up, could you just like beatbox?
I could, but it would go very bad very fast.
Okay, well, let's brainstorm it. We'll come back to it. James, tell us about your thing.
So Modern Mythos and Machine, it's a collection of 75 to 100 illustrations for modern sci-fi and Lovecraft themes. As usual with all my crowdfunded projects, backers will get to submit ideas, and then they'll get to vote and decide on what actually is what the specifics of what's illustrated within the categories.
Check out this dude right here. Sorry, I just love that piece. Sorry, go on.
That's okay. I love it too. But yeah, that's kind of the quick pitch.
That little girl in the middle. If you scroll down a couple more, Mike, with a pair of scissors and then her throat.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's some creepiness right there.
Actually, it's a hole puncher.
It's a hole puncher? That's even worse.
Well, a little backstory on that picture. One of my favorite clients to work with. I've just got this connection with. He doesn't have to give me very much of a description to work with, and he gives me a lot of free reign. And he just wanted a creepy child, and maybe like he mentioned something like glowing eyes, and I felt like that was a glowing eyes and like a knife, and I felt like that was very trope, and so I like to break tropes, and so this is my approach of giving a creepy child without having to do it the same way as everybody else does.
Well, I mean, the jagged mouth and the throat is definitely disturbing. Then you see the hole puncher and you're like, oh God, what happened 5 seconds before this picture?
Either she was getting a cookie or you were having a bad day.
It's a bad cookie recipe.
Oh my goodness.
So
now,
right, cool.
I was a backer on your sci-fi collection stock art, and I backed so that I could get everything. And when those files came in, holy cow! I think I spent like an hour or two just mixing and matching stuff. And I'm just like, oh, and I could do this, and I could do this, and oh wow, this is a neat background. And I had my wife like, should you be working on something? I'm like, I'm working at art. She's like, oh, you're working somebody else's art. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's actually I know I've mentioned it before. My desire is to give independent creators the ability to have quality art, even on a limited budget, and allowing you to mix and match and just have fun. Now with the previous one, the sci-fi choose your own. That was my first time doing that type of project, and I let myself take a big bite on that project. And I wound up doing a lot of customizing, a lot of options, because I wanted you to have a lot of options. But I'm taking what I learned from that one and applying it to this one, where I'm not creating an entire character generator, but rather giving you a foreground, a middle ground, and background for things to mix and match, plus a few other plus items and vehicles and so forth.
Yeah, because I mean, there was a disaster of choice in that right? I mean, like
yes,
literally, when you pulled those files apart and actually, saw them either PSD or as PNG files that could be mixed and matched over a background. There was so much. I mean, just finding what you did originally, putting stuff together to find out what the original image looked like. I think I played like an hour and a half just on one image. And it was seriously, you went through and you were just like, almost like you were assembling a puzzle.
Yeah, I do that sometimes with Jay's art without meaning to. I'm a Patreon backer, and he sends me Dropbox links, and I'll wake up an hour later, and I'm like, oh shit, I was supposed to be working on something, and I've been staring at his art for all this time. So yeah. Occupational hazard.
I mean, part with my license, I'm very open. I know a lot of artists don't like to do this with the art, but if you can mix and match, if you can cut it up, I can allow you to color it if you want. I want creators to be able to have fun and make what they want, even if it doesn't. Like, I've had some the coloring didn't turn out so great, and I would have been like, I don't know if I would make that choice, but hey, it's theirs. So have fun.
All right.
I gotta ask a question. So because I'm new to all of this. So Jay, so you create these backgrounds, foregrounds, character pieces, and then you kickstart this thing and you allow people to use this. Are they using it to create their own role playing games? Is that what this is? Wow, this is dope. Okay. Now I'm understanding the whole picture. Okay, wow,
that's actually the other way around. I create the project, and then everybody will submit ideas, and then I'll kind of curate them to see which ones are going to work best as far as ideas. Then I'll let everybody put it to a vote, and the most popular ones win. And sometimes, if something really inspires me, I'll definitely say, "Oh, I'm definitely drawing that." Not even going to put it to a vote, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Ruben, too, is that when Mike and I we produce tabletop role playing games, and one of those, it's like an abusive relationship with our wallets. So one of the hardest things about putting one of those projects together is like art and layout, right? So like with a comic book. A bunch of us have worked in and around the comics field, so we know your trials and tribulations. But in the comic book realm, when you're putting a project together, usually you have one or two artists, either a cover artist and interiors, or you have one guy who's doing everything, and then of course your colorists, your inkers. So you have usually like a dedicated team. But most small publishers in role-playing games don't have that dedicated team. They don't have that go-to artist that they feel has that signature style. So a lot of times, stock art, or going to somebody like James who can produce the style that they want at an affordable rate with an option for license, which keeps everything kind of in the realm of where the project needs to be. Something like that is gold. Because finding that art, I mean, you could look through mountains and mountains of art on a site like Drive-Through RPG, and never find what you actually need. So having artists come out and say, "Hey, I am willing to do this on Patreon or Kickstarter," and have that project where you can give input is just dynamic.
Yeah, and also just to chime in, if you're looking for a guy with a sword and a shield, or gnomes or elves, there's tons of them. Stuff James does, which is a little more urban, modern science fiction, little something outside the usual Dungeons and Dragons stuff. It's harder to find, so it's a nice resource. Appreciate him doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to give
go for it. No, go for it, James. Go.
I was just gonna give a shout out and thank everybody that's already back so far. It's been tremendous, the input. I'm already over 55%, and this is just a little bit past day one. So
that's good stuff.
Also, the stretch goals are going to be so that I can add the color. So nice. Hopefully we'll get there.
That's cool.
Now, Ruben, do you have stretch goals as well?
I do. I'm not going to announce them just yet, but we do have some ideas in mind where we want to go and what we want to do. One of them is a hardcover volume, but I don't know if we're going to get there just because of the way that it's looking. I mean, we might, I'm staying positive because you have to. Kickstarters are such a weird roller coaster. And what I was going to say, James, was that what you're doing, I think for that realm, for the tabletop gaming world, is pretty awesome, bro. Because that was one of the first things that I did when I decided to do this Star Wars role playing game. Is I went to one of my artists and I was like, "Can you draw my character?" Because I want to see him. I want to see him. I want to know what he looks like. I want to imagine myself. And this to me just blew my mind. So, and it's awesome that you allow people to come in and pitch you ideas that might end up, on your Kickstarter. I might have to come around for the next one. I got plenty of ideas.
Cool.
No, but yeah, I mean, coming back to the agency and the Kickstarter and the stretch goals, yeah, we got some things we want to do. I'm just really focused on hitting this goal right now, because once we hit the goal and if we've got the time, then yeah, we can roll those things out.
I got to tell you, I might need a minute alone after seeing this website, Ruben.
It's really cool, right? Oh
my God.
Yeah, we had a good friend of mine and business partner, Benjamin Sharbit. That was one thing that he wanted. We came to him and pitched him the idea of the comic book, and I told him that I had a bar that I wanted somebody to look at our book and immediately not be able to tell the difference between that or a Marvel or a DC book, and that takes capital. That takes money. It takes an abusive relationship with your wallet, essentially. And that's what we did. We actually, with our first artist, we had the book go through Image 3 times. And each 3 times there were notes and feedback, and we just couldn't get there with Image. So at that point, we decided to go on our own, and we found Eric Coda, who actually ended up doing the whole first volume. He's the storyboard artist on Daredevil and Jessica Jones. He's done some X-Men work. So he was essential. He was key to bringing the agency to life. He actually just turned in a kind of like a painted cover that he did for the Kickstarter. I'm actually going to share it today. We're going to make that a choice for a cover for issue 6. For you guys, for the backers that have already backed and who will be backing. We also had Paul Gorey and Hedwin Zaldivar tag team another kind of anime looking cover. That's the cover image for the Kickstarter right now. And both of them are just beautiful. So I'm just really excited, man, because it's really fun to see all these artists kind of reach out and be like, how can I help? What can I do? Let's get this thing funded and let's keep the agency going.
Hell yeah.
I guess we should mention, and I just stumbled into this from a link on your page. If I wanted to check out Agency 1 through 5, you guys are on Comixology.
We are on Comixology. I toyed with the idea of pulling the books before the Kickstarter, but I was like, you know what? Either way, however people digest this thing, I just want to keep going. I had some friends tell me that it's kind of shooting myself in the foot, but at the same time, you get 6 issues for the same price you get Volume 1. Pretty much on Kickstarter minus the tax. So to me, it's even. It's either way, and if you go the Kickstarter route, you're helping this thing continue to move forward. So, but either way, it's appreciated. So you can find it in both places.
Okay, but right now we got a campaign going. 17 days left. If you want to pick up the books, go to Kickstarter.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, well, hey, things like we're getting ready to. Oh, hey, Jonathan Thompson is talking to us on Facebook. Hey, Jonathan, nice to see you, sir.
Hey, Jonathan.
Always nice to have a live audience. Anything else we want to cover, or should we go ahead and wrap up and call it a show?
Actually, real quick, right? Just share my screen real quick.
Sure.
Look at this art. Tell me that isn't gorgeous.
Oh God, that's nice.
Can you talk about this real quick, Ruben?
Yeah, that's Eric Coda, man. Like he has a way of doing things that, I mean, you can see why we fell in love with him when he first started with us. We wanted to continue. Obviously, like I said, he got busy with Daredevil and the Marvel projects at Netflix, and plus his own personal endeavors. But he reached out to me the minute he saw the Kickstarter was going and was like, "Dude, can I do something for it?" You know, and I was like, "Go for it." And there was a part of me, I don't know if you'll be able to find it going through my pictures on Facebook, but the credits page in volume 1 has that painted style, and it's like Victoria and Remo, and they're both facing opposite directions and they're standing next to each other. And I always loved that style. And I told the man, when we come back, if you can ever have the time to come back to the project, there are certain things that I want to do with this painted style that I think would be beautiful. And I didn't even mention it to him this time, and he just went this route. And this was all him. There's no me explaining to him what I want. This was an offer. He said, "Hey, I don't want to charge you. I just want to do something for it." So I said, "Okay, go have fun." And he brought back this, and it just blew me away.
Yeah, that's tight. And we should probably mention that thing in the middle is a staff, not a wand, right?
That is a staff.
No wands.
No, that's tight. And I got to tell you, if you're going to do stretch goals, you need like an agency monogrammed like agent sunglasses or something like that.
Oh, that's an idea. That's an idea.
I'd be all in for that. But that painting is amazing. Is that something that we can get as a print somewhere?
I'm gonna be like I said, he just offered this. He just shot this over to me. So my head is racing with: do I make it a cover? Do I make it a print? Do I make it both? I kind of, real quick, I launched the Kickstarter like 3 weeks early, like on accident. I wasn't meaning to. I was multitasking. I got the email that my project was ready to go, and I hit launch now. So the art is done. The book just needs to get colored and letters, and we're ready to go. I'm prepared in that sense. I just feel like, man, if I would have had 3 weeks left, and Eric and Paul would have came to me with these covers, I would have had a little bit more time to plan on what I'm going to do. But I'm going to tell you something, man, and I'll say it here on your show. If we hit the goal, I will do it even out of my own pocket. If people want the print, if they want it as a print, if we don't hit a stretch, I will make it happen for people.
Oh,
that's a promise from the creator. If people want it, I'll get it out to them. Just because, listen, like I said, this is my baby, and this is something that I want to continue telling the story. The ending of this thing is so amazing. I mean, honest, me speaking, I think it's a great ride, and the ending is really satisfying. So I'd love to get there.
Also, say, since you're on an RPG podcast, if you do decide to make it an RPG, you've already got all the art you need, and you can include parts of the comic book.
Yeah, just got to get somebody to cut it up. Get all those. But you know what, Jay? Maybe we can collab, man. Maybe we get your style on this, on the RPG. Because that's another thing. My co-creator Roger, huge RPG fan, loves tabletop gaming, and he's like, dude, we got to make a game. So maybe that's something we collab behind the scenes and we get going here.
I'll work cheap, man. Coffee and those agency sunglasses. I'm down.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Well, on that happy note, I'm getting pinged to my day job over here, so I have to bail. James, Ruben, always a pleasure talking to you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And hope to have you both back to check up on things. I'm eager to see where the agency goes from here.
Whenever you want me, man.
Oh, awesome.
Cool. All right, cool. Walt, any closing thoughts?
I'm probably not going to get anything done because I'm going to be playing with this website for like half an hour or so.
It's really cool. So, all right, I'll make sure I put all those links for the Kickstarters and the agency website in the show notes, and I'll shoot you guys a link when that goes live. And until next time, we'll see you on the BAMF podcast.
Take it easy.
Later.
Boom. Awkward silence.